Happy Sunday and welcome to this week's fitness segment. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Beverly Johnson, owner of Genesis Fitness, and I welcome you to this week's Sunday segment. Now, I know it's raining in your area, but it's a great day to talk about something that many people are often plagued with in their weight loss journey. And that problem is often your weight loss plateau. So, for a few minutes this evening, we're going to talk about what is a weight loss plateau, what happens when you get stuck in your plateau, and how do you overcome it. For any first time visitors to this segment, welcome. My name is Beverly Johnson, owner of Genesis Fitness. I'm located here in Huntsville, Alabama, which is the northern part of the state. And it's also home of the illustrious Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University, one of our great HBCUs located throughout the U.S. Welcome, Sandy. Thank you for joining us. So first, what is a weight loss plateau? Let me get my notes so we can see. Put it right there. A weight loss plateau happens to all of us. It happens along the way. Because if you started out on your weight loss journey, you notice that right off the bat, you seem to drop weight instantaneously. It seems like you think about losing a pound, you lose a pound. You think about not eating carbs, you lose 3 more pounds. And so you have that momentum in the first few weeks, the first 6 weeks. And most of that is because when you cut calories, the body gets the energy it needs by releasing stores of glycogen. And what that is a big word to say that that's a carb that's found in your muscles and your liver. So the first few weeks, you'll see that everything's coming down. You're seeing that you're slimming down. But then along the way, you hit the wall. Somewhere along the process, you're still going to the gym every day. You're still tracking your calories. You're still doing everything that you said you're supposed to do. But then it happens. Your weight loss seems to get to a stopping point. And that is usually the point where most people get frustrated. And that's when most people give up because you don't always know how to get out of a weight loss plateau. You don't usually know, hey, Veronica, you don't always know what to do next. And this is normally the space where people will get frustrated. And this is where I've seen many clients and students that have attended my classes over the years give up. Because this is the phrase that usually accompanies this season. See, I can't lose weight. I've never been able to lose weight. Every time I get to this point, I seem to get stuck. And it's right there because you get stuck. You don't know how to pivot to the next space. So if you have experienced a weight loss plateau and you may find yourself in a weight loss plateau, we're going to go over a few things that may be able to help you get out of that weight loss plateau. And one of the first things it says that I researched, and it says cut back on your carbs. Now understand, I'm not saying starvation. In your weight loss program, starvation is never an option. Starvation is not a weight loss strategy, and starvation, go ahead and take starvation off of the table. What I'm saying is reduce your carb intake, and it may help you get in the right direction if you're feeling that you're stalled. So sometimes you may have to sit down and look at what you're eating, because sometimes everything that's labeled as a health food may not necessarily be a healthy food. So you have to start paying more attention to the labels, start paying attention to the sugar content, because sometimes it may not say sugar, but it may say fructose. So if it has something that has an ose on the end, that may be a sugar hiding in your food. Also pay attention to something that may have an extremely high sodium count, because I've seen in a lot of frozen meals where the frozen meal itself may have 400 calories, but the sodium in it may have 2,300 milligrams. And I think if I'm along the right lines, that is how much you're supposed to have in a day. So, hey, Donna. Hey, girl. Hey. So, if you're eating a meal that has an extremely high sodium content, the byproduct of the sodium content is water retention. So, pay attention to the sugar levels, pay attention to the sodium content, and pay attention to how many processed foods that you're eating. Even though it may be labeled as healthy, it may not necessarily be healthy. Number two, because I have to add it, it's part of what I have to say. Increasing, exercise is always going to be in something. So another thing you have to look at is increase your exercise intensity. Because if you've noticed over the years, there have been certain weight loss programs that have the word that start with I and end in Y. And the tenet was of the program is that it would trick your body into doing certain things. But at the core of it, what it was is that it was set up that you completed certain programs and certain exercises every day to prevent yourself from going and becoming stagnant. Because with your workout program, if you've been going to the gym for over a year or 2 years, and if you go to the strength training classes and you're still lifting 3 pounds, you're still lifting 5 pounds, you're still lifting the same weight for the past 3 years, chances are your workout program has stalled because it's no longer challenging to you. Because what happens as we get older is that our metabolism slows down. And so if you're not doing if your exercise program is not one that you are changing up every few weeks to have the variety, to have the intensity, where if your mind, hey mama, where if your mind and body knows that on Monday you're going to do 10 push-ups, on Tuesday you're going to do 10 squats, on Wednesday you're going to do 8 sit-ups. After a while, your body will train to that. And so afterwards, so when you first started working out and you were doing those 10 push-ups, you noticed things were changing, things was getting in place, and you were like, okay, I see it. But now you do those 10 push-ups and you just blowing through it. That's your indicator that it's time for you to up your workout. If you're able to do the same set of exercises and you don't feel a challenge, it's time to add intensity. It's time to go from 12 burpees to 15 burpees. It's time from walking 1 mile to going up a half. Or if you already have a walking program, it's time to speed it up. Because one thing that often goes with a weight loss plateau is a stagnant exercise program. So it doesn't have to be something intense. I don't recommend that if you have never gone to a class that does all burpees and everything else, gradually ease yourself into that because there are modifications. So for me, a modification to added intensity is that if you're already doing a squat, do a squat, then add the knee. So squat, knee, squat, knee. If you're already doing push-ups, consider doing a variation where you do a squat, then push up, then you get up and do a shoulder tap. So you have variations that can increase your workout without hurting yourself. So number one, check your carbs. Are you eating too many processed foods? Are you eating foods that have secret sugars? So pay attention to the foods that have oats on the end, fructose, sucrose, the other oats. So it may not necessarily have sugar written out, but it may have one of the oats, fructose, like the high fructose corn syrup. Corn syrup is very heavily used instead of sugar. So when you see it that says it's sugar free, it may have fructose corn syrup. So that is sometimes how they trick you into believing that you're eating something that doesn't have sugar. They just replaced it with an oats. Number two, I feel like I'm on a countdown. Number two, increase your exercise frequency and intensity. Where if you're only doing 2 days workout right now, increase it to 3 days. And not only increase it to 3 days, or if you already have a workout in play, go exceed the normal 30 minutes. So if you already have a 30-minute routine, if your schedule allows it, bump it up to 45 minutes. Add the variations where if you're doing a walking program, you can add the intervals where you do the walk jog intervals. So that way You're giving your body that chance to get out of its comfort zone. Number three, wait, I didn't do it. Number three, try intermittent fasting. And what intermittent fasting is that you have a window where you decide to eat. Now, clarification is during that window when you're eating, you're picking the right foods. That doesn't mean that you're going for broke during that window. That doesn't mean that you're having all the bad foods. What it means is for the window that you picked, you're going to eat during that time. One of the most popular versions of intermittent fasting is the 16-8 method, which means for 8 hours of your picking, that is when you eat. And then after that, the other 16, you're done into the next day. So your 8 hours may be 9 to 5 or 10 to 6. So for that 8 hour window, you have your breakfast, lunch, and your snacks, or however you pick it. Because intermittent fasting doesn't tell you what to eat. It gives you the schedule of when to eat. And so when in your 8 hour window, you decide and you plan out your meals. That is a key component of intermittent fasting, that you have to sit down and decide what you're going to eat in this thing, because you have to plan out your day. Because if your last meal is at 6, you're not eating again to the next day. The beauty of intermittent fasting and the beauty of the 16-8 method is that it is flexible enough that if you're on travel, or if you have a work schedule that may have a flex work schedule, which means you may be on that second shift or that third shift, you can decide your hours. So if you're on a second shift, eating from 7 to 4 may not work for you, but having a window of 11 to 7 may work for you. So the flexibility and the beauty of intermittent fasting is that you can gauge when you need to eat on your schedule that's best for you. So when you factor in those three things, that will give you the option to kind of weigh in with intermittent fasting. Again, and to recap what I said at the beginning, if you are in a weight loss plateau, starvation is not an option. Intermittent fasting is not starvation. It's not supposed to be, I'm gonna do 24-0. I'm just not eating. That's not an option. However, there are other versions of intermittent fasting that allows for you to have days where you fast totally. And I think that's called the 5 and 2, where for 5 days you eat regular meals at your regular schedule, and for 2 days you do the juice. You do the juice. You do like a cleanse. You may do smoothies that day. So on those 2 days out the week, and they should not be back to back. So if you choose the 5-2 schedule, 5 days out the week, you're going to eat your foods like you normally do. And for 2 days out the week, those will be your liquid diets. So I've seen most people consider doing like a Tuesday and Thursday. If you are from the religious background, you've often heard of this happening in churches and spaces where they say that, for 2 days, I'm having 2 days of fasting and prayer. So if you're come from a religious background, you've heard this before. So if you've already been accustomed to it, that's kind of, I'm not saying it's the same. I'm just saying that's kind of along the same ways, where if you have your religion orientation says you declare a day of fasting, you may consider lining up that method with the days that you decided for fasting. And last, number 4. Where before go? Oh, there it is. Number 4. Don't rely on the scale alone. And when I say don't rely on the scale alone, don't marginalize your non-scale victories, because your non-scale victories will tell you first and foremost when you're on the right track. And what a non-scale victory is when you put your clothes on and you have a little more room in the pants. When you put on your jeans and you notice that they're not cutting your circulation off. when you stop wearing your cardigans everywhere and you want us to see your arms, when you notice that you're sleeping better, when you notice that you're walking more, you're adding more distance, you don't feel as winded. You may notice that your appetite is changing for foods. You no longer want sweets as much. You may want more water. So those are non-scale victories that you cannot underestimate, because a non-scale victory and those inches will tell you that you are on the right track. If you're able to get in a pair of jeans that you hadn't worn in a year, that's a non-scale victory. That lets you know that your progress is working out. If you're able to find out that you're going down a shoe size or you've gone down a dress size, your body is telling you you're doing it. Your body is saying, I see you. Keep up the good work. So just because you may not see it happening yet, don't underestimate the non-scale victories, because your non-scale victories is that little key of motivation that will keep you going above any and everything else. When I started my own weight loss journey, I monitor my progress by my non-scale victories. Because when I noticed that my pants were getting loose, my shirts were getting baggy, that let me know I was on the right track. So when one size didn't fit, went on down to the next size. So that is how I knew I was making progress. So don't forsake your non-scale victories. You may notice now your doctor saying you can come off that medication. That's a non-scale victory to let you know that your body's responding to the process. So to recap, what will happen if you are in a weight loss plateau? Count down again. I feel like I'm going to count down. So number 1, look at your carbs. Consider counting, I won't say counting your carbs, but get a fitness tracker that will give you an idea of how much you're eating every day and will give you an idea of how many carbs you're consuming every day. Number 2, increase your exercise, because there may be a space where it's time for you to change your workout program, that you have hit a space of that is no longer challenging. So number 2, look at your current workout program and figure out if you've been going to the same classes at the gym for the past 11 years and you have not increased your weight intensity. So if you've always lifted the 3-pound weight in class, in the strength training class, challenge yourself to go up to the 5-pound, because that's the challenge you need in strength training to grow. Number 3, number 3, consider intermittent fasting. Again, intermittent fasting is not starvation. However, it is a weight loss plan that you can consider to monitor your eating. Again, intermittent fasting doesn't tell you what to eat, it tells you when to eat. And number 4, don't rely on the scale alone. Never underestimate your non-scale victories. So in conclusion, I have an amazing announcement to make. I am going on vacation for the next 2 weeks. Well, not vacation. Okay, a little vacation, but for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to take a break. So for the next 2 Sundays, I will be out of pocket, because I am a fierce advocate of self-care. I am a tremendous advocate of taking care of yourself. So I have to make sure that I have carved out space and time for myself as well. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to take some time away, practice some self-care, work on a few things around here for me. And I'm going coming back in September. We're going to work on some new changes. Coming back in September, there's going to be a new segment in this spot. Coming back in September, it's going to open up with Entrepreneur Spotlights. And the name of the show will be Fit and Fierce with Coach Beverly Johnson. I ain't leaving, y'all. Y'all can calm down. Y'all thought I was going to leave, did you? Mm-hmm. You did. I heard your heart palpitations. So coming back in September, the official name of the show will be Fit and Fierce with Coach Beverly Johnson. Doesn't it have a nice ring to it? I like it. I do. I really, you like it too. Go and put some little hearts in the chat. So taking a break, gonna hang out with my mama so she can cook me some good food because my mama watching. So my mama gonna cook some good food when I get home. Yeah, I'm begging my mama for food. I am. I really am. So I'm gonna take a break, visit my family, hang out with reconnect with Beverly, take some naps, and come back in September, hit it hard, hit it strong, and we're gonna finish out this year strong. Thank you for the past. Oh, thank y'all. Thank y'all for the past 8 months. This has been a great ride. But in next 2 weeks after I come back, because everybody that works with me knows that when I take a break, when I come back, I'm coming back harder. So just because I'm taking a break, that don't mean much. That just means in September we got work to do. So I'll see y'all at the 1st of September. Have a great weekend. No, not a weekend. Oh, I've lost track of my days. Have a great week. Be blessed. Be prosperous. I'll probably along. Thank you, Sandy. Welcome. So, probably along the way, if you are part of the Genesis Fitness community, there'll still be postings going on. Probably while I'm out, I'll share a little stuff along the adventure because I'm not gone. Just taking a break because self care is a fierce component of your wellness program. Because the thing about your wellness is that when your body is tired and when your spirit needs a break, it's going to break you. So you can't say that you can't afford to take a break because you rather take it willingly or your body's going to say that's it. And the reason it is such a huge component for me, when I was working, I was in grad school. I was working full time and going to school full time, which I don't wish on nobody. And I remember I thought I had a sinus infection. And I went to the doctor and she said, "So who I send this notice to?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She said, "I'm sending you home for exhaustion." So I got put on bed rest because I was working full time and going to school full time. And that is not a space that you should be. Now there are spaces where stress happens. There are spaces where you can't avoid stress. But in all that you do, don't forget to take care of yourself because there are people that are relying on you. There are people that are relying on your gift. And you can't be that person living off of fumes. While you're busy giving everything to everybody else, don't forget to share some for yourself. The love and grace that you give to everybody else, don't forget to give a space of that for you too, because you're worthy of the love that you put out to everybody else. So I will see y'all in 2 weeks. The fit, the new show will be in 2 weeks. I will see y'all. Have grace, have mercy, love on each other, and don't forget to wear sunscreen if you go outside, because I don't know where you are, but it is hot as all Hades in the South. So I will see y'all in 2 weeks. Be blessed.